Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have my beautiful friend from the left coast over there, the founder of Elevate Leadership. Rebekah Hansen is a general relationships expert that provides tools and techniques to help bridge the communication gap between parents, their teens, and their aging parents. Where was she when I was younger, right? She is the CEO and founder of Elevate Leadership and has been married for 26 years. She has 4 children and 1 grandson. If you're watching this on any of our video outlets, there's no way she looks like she could have a grandchild, but that's a testament to her taking care of herself, leveling up her health, leveling up her wealth. And Rebekah, please come on, introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, my favorite color is pink. Anybody that knows me is going to answer that for you. So,
and you're rocking pink.
Always,
right?
Always, my entire closet.
Is that even a little pink in your hair?
Yes.
I love it. So she stands by herself. She said orange or blue. I'd be like, you're crazy. That's awesome.
No, orange is my husband's favorite color, and I hate it.
Very cool. You hate it.
We're competing neons.
I'm not an orange guy either, but that's okay. It just isn't in my color wheel, so I'm kidding. But no, let's get into a little bit of your story here. It's pretty interesting what you do, bridging the gap between kind of parents and teens. There's a lot of disconnect there, I know, because I lived it. I think we all have. But let's just get in the origins, if you don't mind, and kind of get started there.
Well, I probably got in it because of being in it. Being in that season myself. I've got, you mentioned earlier, I've got 4 kids, so I've gotten 3 of them successfully alive through the teenage years. And I'm in the middle of my final kid being in that teenage era. So in the process of being in that as well, my parents have hit that stage where they've started having, a few health issues and so forth. So that's kind of changed the dynamic a little bit of, how I look at life. Because, everything's a certain way your entire life. And then suddenly it shifts, and not that life doesn't shift all the time. I mean, because if you're not ready for life to change, watch out. Right. It's like I'm waiting, like, when's the next shoe gonna fall? Right. But yeah, I kind of got into it probably because the people I was around and so forth began to that was the stories that were coming, and my heart just went out to people who were struggling. And of course I have my own struggles in those particular areas, but I don't want to look back on life with any regret.
Absolutely.
And so that's the direction I just felt my heart was pulling me, and I had the support of my husband. And so that's kind of how I ended up doing that particular
awesome
avenue.
Yeah. And people need it, Rebekah. And so was there what did you do before you kind of got into Elevate Leadership? Was there a background to what you're doing?
Well, I spent the last 20 something years figuring out how to survive and thrive through different seasons. So sure. My experience has definitely been a lot more on the personal side.
Sure.
I have just had the privilege of, being able to focus a lot more on my kids and on the raising of them as they were younger. And so I've always felt like family first. That's just always been my motto, just family first, family first, family first. Sure. And so, as they've gotten a little bit older, I've taken time through the years and have done a lot of work with nonprofits, sure. A lot of church work in the churches. I love the whole idea of developing the church leaderships the same way the business areas have an opportunity to develop their leaders. I think that people are hungry for growth. People are hungry for, more, and we don't know where to look. A lot of times it's like, I want to grow. How do you grow? And you talk to people and they're almost like, well, don't do that because, it's almost a competition. But I think, right. If we grow together and we learn together and we build each other up, man, can we change our world?
Well, it sounds to me like you were a domestic engineer, like handling the household there at the Hansen household.
Absolutely.
So, which is just as tough as any job, trust me.
Proudly so, yes.
My mother, I'll tell you, I don't know how she did it. But let me ask you this then. What do you think makes a great coach in your niche?
I think you have to have compassion, you have to have empathy, and you have to not have all the answers. I
Wow,
think that's
and
a
that's
big
true.
deal. I don't think I like it. I was actually on a conversation recently and somebody was trying to tell me what I needed to do or what I should be doing. And it's like, almost almost frustrating because you're not in my shoes. I appreciate the help, but you're not in my shoes and you're telling me how I should prioritize the things that are important in my life, or that my
Right.
priorities are not what they should be. And it's like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's just, I cannot be anybody but myself. So I think
Yes.
going into coaching, you can't be that other person, but man, can you empathize with them for being where they are? Can you have compassion for them for being in those tough seasons? Can you be alongside them and support them? I don't think people are looking for the answers. They just want to know
Sure.
they're not alone.
So you said seasons like 3 times now.
Mhm.
Give our squad here a little bit, quickly a rundown of what you mean by seasons.
Well, I'll just take it from the mothering aspect because it's easiest for me to break it down
Sure.
that way. Well, we have the teenage season, so we're dealing with teenage kids. We have the toddler season, so we're dealing with kids that are running around and tearing up your house and pulling things off, pulling your
Mhm.
favorite teapot off the shelf and onto
Oh,
their head, you
oh
know.
no.
And then of course there's the infant years where you're figuring out what in the world did I get myself into, and I don't know how I'm ever going to do this, so there's seasons of overwhelm, there's seasons of success, there's seasons of where you're teaching people, or in that case kids, to stand up on their own, to learn to think for themselves. And I
Yes.
think that's the hardest part of it, the season we're in right now, is I'm allowing my kids to learn to think for themselves and to stand up on their own. And it's not always the way I'm hoping they'll think or do or whatever else, and I have to learn to be like, hey, I'm still listening, I'm still
Right.
here, I may not understand, but I'm still here, I'm still, it's just, there's, I think, and you'll continue
Absolutely.
through that as you go along, even after, in business, it can be seasons of, promotion, seasons of job loss, seasons of, it's anything. Seasons can basically title anything you want it to.
What do you think is the toughest season out of the toddler, teen, and for you, and what you're seeing with your clients also? What do you think is the toughest season?
Oh my goodness. I think it depends on the client, definitely, but I know that a lot of the mamas I deal with, it's just the unknown of, you're fighting with, your kid already with the hormone
Sure.
issues, that suddenly this stranger that you're living with, your sweet little baby, and whatever else.
Who are you?
And yes, exactly.
Right.
And then at the same time, you're competing with the media, you're competing with the screens, you're
Mm.
competing with, the idea of everybody's life, is the Facebook reel or the Instagram reel or whatever, everything
Right.
is just, and, I've got girls. And so you've got the body image issues,
Sure.
and, you've got, morality issues, and they're saying, society is saying this is all okay. And we're still saying, no, do the right thing,
Right.
do the right thing, do the right thing. And so I know that I talk with mothers all the time, and it's the same thing. They're terrified of
Right.
what the internet is, and you can't get away from it. I mean,
No, you
I'm one of
can't.
those parents that puts limits and everything else. And I've talked to so many moms, and they're like, how do you stop it?
Right.
And it's like, well, if you figure it out, please tell me, because, all I can do is tell you, be consistent, be consistent, be consistent, pick your
Absolutely.
battles,
Okay.
pick your
So-
battles, be consistent, pay attention, listen, and give yourself some grace, because man, are we going to drop the ball?
Love it. So you work with one-on-one?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're going into a discovery period over Elevate Leadership, and you're working with a client, or prospect, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Probably I would say, I wish they would ask me if it's okay to feel the way they feel. Because we're so busy justifying why we're doing something and why we're not, quote unquote, meeting the expectations that society sets on us, but we set so many on ourselves.
Sure.
That when you pull back and realize, man, nobody could meet, I have to say this personally, no one could meet my expectations, especially me, because I'm harder on myself than I am anybody else. And so I
love
wish,
that you said that. Right.
I wish they would say to me, is it okay to feel this way? Is it okay to feel overwhelmed? Is it okay to not have it all together? Is it okay to not be Wonder Woman every single day?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's like, yes, it absolutely is. It's okay to and is it okay to take care of me? Yes, please, by all means, because if, I have trouble with this myself, but it's okay to actually stop and take a minute to rest and take a minute to think and take a minute to yourself.
Yes.
The house will not most likely fall down. I guess I could say, I can't say it will never, but I mean, most likely when you come back, you're still going to be dealing with the same kids. You're still going to be dealing with the same spouse. You're still going to be dealing with the same job, but take a minute and get away, take a breath, so yeah, I wish they would come to me and say, is it okay to not be okay?
Okay. So then what is some secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, that helps them find their blind spot when you start coaching them?
Secret sauce. From my perspective, I have to learn how to listen to what they're saying and maybe what they're not saying.
Love
and
it.
In turn, once they understand what they're looking for, because I don't know what they're looking for when they come to me.
A great coach is going to get it out of them, powerful questions, right? Can we agree on that? Okay. Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
And so once they kind of begin to understand what they're looking for, then tips and tools to help them learn how to in turn turn around and listen and to what's being said and not being said to their kids, to their parents.
Are people trying to get an answer in the first session? Like we say here, inch by inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard, right? So are they looking for answers in their first session? Are they willing to work with you and a longer time basis to really level up and get that, remove a lot of that disconnect between them and their children?
Well, I think we all want answers in the first session. We want the microwave. We want the microwave, mentality. We live in a microwave mentality. Sure. My husband says it like all the time, it's we want the microwave mentality, but we actually need to live by the crock pot.
Exactly. I love that. I love that.
So I think that, we all want the answers. So to say, hey, it's not okay for you to want the answers would be like a disservice to them.
Sure.
So I understand that you want all the answers. I understand that you are desperate for something to change, but can we talk? Can we find out what's going on? What is that issue? I had somebody actually tell me yesterday, I said something to her and she used back the thing I had helped her with in our first coaching session. She used it back at me and I said, don't use my own words against me.
I love it. So are you more of a coach or a consultant?
Or
are you a coach-sultant?
There you go. I like that one.
Yeah, I am. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know about titles, honestly. I think I just want to be that person that, if we fit, we fit. Let's work together. If we don't, hey, is there something I can do?
Or someone I can
to help you right now?
Right. Love that. Big
it's
heart.
Just, there's so many hurting people. I mean, let's not kick each other while we're already down, even if we can't work together. And you're not going to hit 1,000 with every person.
No.
But if there's something I can do, maybe sometimes it's just, hey, let's be friends. Let's connect.
I can put you with somebody that maybe help level you up. That's what we do here at Time to Shine today. That's what we're doing right now with you. So let me ask you something then, Rebekah. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 21, 22-year-old Rebekah. I don't know if it's Hansen then, but let's go back to the 21, 22.
It was. We've been married a long time.
Awesome. What kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine today, would you be dropping on her to maybe help her shorten her learning curve, level up, and blast through?
Give yourself some grace.
Love that.
Give yourself some grace, because I spent, I think, my entire adulthood years trying to figure out how to be all things to all people,
Right.
and do it all, and be that one that was able to do it all,
Sure.
whatever. And it's not like I was, oh, look at me. I just wanted to be the best wife, best mom, best, daughter, best this, best that, and just always, make sure that everything was the way it's not a reality.
Sure.
It's not a reality.
Right.
So give yourself some grace, make your mistakes,
So,
just love deeply and be yourself.
Passionately and deeply. I love it.
Yes.
So how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. How do you want Rebekah's dash remembered?
Oh man. There's a lot of things I'd like to say, but at the end I probably would love it to say she loved her family deeply. There was never any question about that. She touched the lives around her.
Love it. Love it. And you're doing it from such a place of service. And I can hear the emotion in your voice. I love, love, love that. So let's get back in that DeLorean.
Okay.
And this time with Doc Brown. Remember, he says, where we're going, we don't need roads. Let's go 5 years into the future. God blesses you with 5 more years of life. Where do you see Elevate Leadership?
Oh, man. I see it selfishly introducing me to so many more great people that I've had the opportunity to impact in some way. That's awesome. Some positive way.
Man, you're just full of service. I love this. I love this interview. So what do you think people misunderstand about Rebekah the most?
Let's see. What do people misunderstand about me? Boy, that's a good one. Maybe that that's such a good question. I don't even know how to answer it.
It's time to shine today, baby. Ask them. No, it's okay. I you know what? Some people, especially from, I don't know you, and I don't think you're so transparent, so they might not misunderstand you, So what do you think then keeps you up at night?
Oh, the missed opportunities.
Yeah. And how you could have did things differently. But do you leave that in the past and move forward?
I'm getting better at that.
Good.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a work in progress always.
I love that. So what is your definition of a life well lived, Rebekah?
Wow. I'd have to say it's going to go back. It's always going to be my family first. My faith in God. I don't hide that either.
We're Christian. I'm Christian here, so my squad
absolutely.
knows it, and I tell them they can unsubscribe if they don't like it. That's how I.
There you go. Well, I don't apologize for that either. So to live a life of faith, definitely.
Yeah.
To learn, I think this is something I'm always working on, is learning how to trust Him to take care of my kid. I'm like, I can trust you with anything else, God, but when it comes to my kids, oh my goodness, I want to hang on to dear life. But to live a life that I've done everything I know to do the right thing.
Love it.
It's definitely going to be a life well lived, and to, like I said earlier, just to love deeply, for them to never question that. Yeah. Although I do have teenagers, so I'm sure it's questioned.
Love it. So let's take our cell phone out of the equation. Let's take anything electronic, and let's take family out of this equation too. What are 3 things that Rebekah cannot live without?
3 things you took away all my, well, not the cell phone, but you took away things I can't live without when you said take the family out. But let's see. I can't live without the color pink, for sure.
I was going to say, if you didn't say that, I'm hanging up. So go ahead.
Well, I say I talk in food and glitter, so it's so that's kind of. I definitely would not want to live without the color pink. The world would be a much duller place without it. I definitely would not want to live in a world where I couldn't be around people being impacted and being impactful.
Community, then. Yeah.
Yes.
What's that 3rd thing?
Definitely my faith, but I don't know if you said take that one out, but definitely my faith first and foremost.
What kind of food do you like? What can't you live without for food? Come on,
man, I like food. I will try anything. You should hear my husband. He's like, that's disgusting. But I'll try anything.
She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yep, let's do it. Went to Vietnamese first time you know, I've been to Vietnam when I was in the military and stuff like that, and finally found a place here in South Florida that has it like that. She's like, "Are you sure?" And now she loves it. Oh, we going back?
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
That's funny. So
I do like Mexican food.
Oh yeah.
And Olive Garden. I'll make it a commercial for Olive Garden because they have that, never-ending soup and salad.
Yeah.
So
Yes, love it. And the breadsticks, man.
Yes.
So good. And squad, we are going to take my good friend Rebekah here from Elevate Leadership through our leveling up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. And hey, time to shine today, Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back with my really good friend, my Pinky Tuscadero, if you're old enough to remember that from Happy Days. My good friend, Rebekah Hansen.
I'm not, I didn't know who that was.
What's that? Remember it was Fonzie's girlfriend in the Happy Days.
I didn't know Fonzie had a girlfriend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember Fonzie.
Rebekah, he was one of my idol, childhood idols. I had two. I had the $6 Million Man, the original.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
And then Fonzie, and then my first crush was Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. I mean,
there you go.
I was born in 1972.
Aim high.
Yes, love it. Then
she showed up in the Wonder Woman movie. Do you know that?
She did, yeah.
She did, yes.
And then as I moved forward in life, it was Daisy Duke. So.
Yeah.
But Rebekah, we're going to go through our leveling up lightning round. You and I could easily talk 15, 20, maybe even an hour on each one of these questions. But you got 5 seconds with no explanation. And they can all be answered quickly. So we're just going to keep you on your toes. You ready to rock?
I'll be ready, I guess.
You are. Let's level up. Rebekah, what's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Be yourself.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Living passionately.
Love it. So you see me, I'm walking down the street. Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. What book are you handing me? Outside the Bible?
The Dream Giver.
Really? Who's that by?
Rich. Is it Rich? Or I moved it. It was sitting right here next to me. I think it's Rich Wilkerson.
Okay.
Not Rich Wilkerson. Bruce Wilkerson. Sorry. Rich
Donnie, put that on my list, please. Thank you so much. Okay. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Either the heart or the happy face.
Got it. Love it. Chess or checkers?
Neither.
No problem. Who's made the biggest impact on your life?
Oh, man. My husband, my kids, my parents.
Beautiful. Let's say family across the board. And don't lie to me on this, young lady, okay? But if you could stay one age physically for the rest of your life and still keep the knowledge you've garnered and continue to gain more wisdom, what age physically would you stay for the rest of your life?
Ooh, I'd probably stick right at 30.
Yes, thank you very much. I say 28 to 32. I know you're telling the truth, and I love it. So what's your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time and money to?
My local church, first and foremost.
What's the name of it?
Sutter Community Church.
Love it.
Right at the base of the Sutter Buttes in Sutter.
Love it. Sutter?
Yes.
All right, put that in show notes, okay? Thanks. Awesome. Last question. You can elaborate a little bit on this one. But what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or
90s?
Yes. Big hair, don't care.
Journey all the way.
Oh my gosh, it's funny you said that. We have where I live, I walk and they have an amphitheater, and it's like they have cover bands every Friday, and there was Bon Jovi last Friday.
Oh wow.
So fun.
Oh,
fantastic.
Living on a prayer.
Yes. So Rebekah, how can we find you?
I am on LinkedIn. Probably is the easiest way to find me. I don't have a website right now. I would love to have one, but I don't just yet. I'm also on Facebook. You can find me under Rebekah Hansen Coach, or my personal page is just my name, but it's probably easier to find me on LinkedIn than anywhere else.
Excellent. We're going to put everything in the show notes for my good friend Rebekah here. And Rebekah, tell me about this 6-month, once a month webinar that you have beginning to launch here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. I am going to be doing a series on connecting in your important relationships. Awesome. And so it's going to be just different things like learning how to parent without losing your mind.
So many people, subscribers out there. Hello.
I actually have a Facebook group called Parenting Your Teens Without Losing Your Mind.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
We're going to put that in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
Rebekah, do me one last favor, please. Can you leave our squad with one last knowledge nugget you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on?
Be yourself. Don't be
Love it.
afraid to let people in. Be careful who you let in. But when you
Yes.
let them in, make sure you be yourself, you get vulnerable and really be open to growth.
I love that. And squad, we got a free masterclass here from my really good friend, Rebekah, who's family first. I love it. She believes that a great coach is going to be their authentic self, but also compassionate, empathetic, and they don't have all the answers. They're going to help you through the powerful questions that she's going to ask, really level up your life and understand that there's within her niche that there's different seasons from infant to toddler to teenagers, and you're going to hit some overwhelm. And let us make, if you're running into that, let us make a warm introduction to my good friend, Rebekah. You know, she wants you to remember it's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel excited. It's okay to feel scared. And a great coach, she reminds us, is going to really listen, not only with their ears, but also the other nonverbal, the body posture, the way the person might blink, her head turns, their eyes. A great coach is going to listen with all the cues. And we're going to take a little piece of what Mr. Hansen says, that like people want to live the microwave life. Let's go with the crock pot. You know, she's going to remind you to give yourself some grace. And she will be remembered as someone that loved deeply, deeply, deeply. And she loves her family. She loves her faith. She loves God. And she loves the word. It's fantastic. And she's going to remind you again to be yourself. Be careful who you let in your life, but be open to all opportunities. And like we say, for my good friend Leah Woodford, get your asking gear if you don't know something. And if you're asking for help with regards to leveling up within your family, let me make that warm introduction to Rebekah. And Rebekah, thank you so much for coming on. You've earned your varsity letter here at Time to Shine today. You level up your health, you level up your wealth. I cannot wait to collaborate with you in the future.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Talk soon.
All right.